Hey everybody, Movie Reviewer Next Door here, and I'm back with another review. And this time, I saw Tracers. It's a 2015 action thriller drama film from director Daniel Ben Meyer, and it stars Taylor Lautner, Maria Avgeropoulos, Adam Rayner, and Rafi Gavron. In this film, wanted by the mafia, a New York City bike messenger escapes into the world of parkour after meeting a beautiful stranger. So, what did I think of Tracers? Well, I have seen this film before. I wanted to watch it again and review it, see if I still liked it like I did, and yeah, I still like it. It is one of those films that I'm more intrigued by the action than the story for sure, and I'll get to that. But the action here is very, very, very well done. But I'll get to that. Let me get to the cast first. Taylor Lautner is Cam. He's a bike messenger in some debt, so he ends up joining this parkour group, pulling off heists and stuff. Um, Taylor Lautner was in another film I've seen recently, again called Abduction from 2011, and I think his acting just between those two films has grown quite a bit. He doesn't do anything super emotional or overly like I'm an actor like that, but it feels 100% like they're less banking on a sex appeal this time around because Abduction and the Twilight movies from a young age, him being sexualized like that, you can really tell that it never really gave him the room to improve acting wise because they're always banking on that and never on his acting. But here, I can definitely see some improvement acting wise, and I think he actually did a rather good job. Nothing he did really stuck out to me as bad acting. Maria Avgeropoulos plays Nikki. She is part of this parkour group. I like Maria Avgeropoulos. I recently saw her in King of Killers. She was fine there. She didn't really get to do too much. Um, she's in the show, The 100, which I think is finished. I think that show actually finished. But, um, as I like her on that show, I do like her here. She has some moments where she's a bit off, but I think she plays an interesting character. Both her and Taylor Lautner's characters are kind of broken characters. They grew up a bit too fast. But she's an admirable love interest. Adam Rayner plays Miller. He's the leader of the parkour group. He's kind of becomes your villain. It's not really a twist because it's pretty obvious. But I think he plays the role well. I'm not sure I've seen him in anything else. Apparently he plays Simon Templar in the Saint movie, which I have not seen. I was actually curious about that, and he was in Straight Heads, which I also saw. I think he was the main villain in that. I'll have to watch that again and review it. But he does a decent enough job. And Rafi Gavron as Dylan, he is Nikki's brother. Um, doesn't really do a lot, but I still liked him. But I do want to get to my main issues with the movie. Because it's not that these issues really ruin it, but they do keep the film from getting to the level it could have been. Because I think with the action in this film, you could have had a really memorable, um, maybe even kind of modern classic. Because this isn't like all the other teen action movies you see, and I'm not shitting on teen action movies, but a lot of them do bank on the stars and, oh, look how sexy the main actor is, look how sexy the love interest is. That's what a lot of them do because that's their poor attempts to get people to like a movie without having to do anything interesting in it. But here you have some actual craft, and I think the director Dan Banmeyer was the perfect choice. I have not seen his other films, but he seems to understand what to do with an action movie. The the action scenes are very well filmed. There's not shaky cam use it to get you more into the scene, and I think they use it in a good way. This director also did a film that I think is on Netflix called Extreme. I am curious to see it. Um, he also did Paintball. I haven't seen yet. I own it. But here he seems to know how to mix in the action with actual story. If the story is kind of bleh here. And what I mean by bleh is it's kind of your typical teen action drama story. It's all just by coincidence. Girl does something nice for a boy. Boy ends up searching after her, and then oh, he gets involved in this big thing, and it's not exactly a story that's gonna win any originality points, but it works. Um, Another thing I would say about this film is some of the performances are a bit off. Um, the other members of the parkour group, I really don't even remember their names. They didn't really have much of characters. That's another thing. The characters are kind of super surface level. Even Marie Avgeropoulos' character is there's not a lot to her, and I really wish that we had known that. I, I wish that the film had treated it as if Adam Rayner was the villain from the beginning, because that would have allowed them to build his character up a bit more. Because the small scenes that you see of him being villainous, I guess, are just him like in a relationship with someone and like treating them bad, and it's like really, it's just really forced and it doesn't work. It 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 really does feel like really does this need to be here? And you could have had him be a bit more subtle. But from the beginning, I was like, yeah, this guy has to be a villain. He's acting weird and all that. But otherwise, the action in this film. I did watch the behind the scenes and I found out that pretty much everything Taylor Lautner does on screen is actually him performing his own stunts, which I do have to give kudos to because that cannot be fucking easy. They did it without wires. They did it without. They probably used pads, but I'm fine with that, of course. I don't want the actors getting killed. But without wires, he did a lot of his own parkour, well, all of his own parkour that is on screen here. So I do have to give them credit for that. The other members of the group also know parkour, Rafi Gavron, um, and the other two. Maria Avgeropoulos apparently did not know parkour yet, and she learned during a 6-month training thing. Um, and she doesn't do a ton in the film, but the stuff she does do looks pretty good, and I buy it being her. But yeah, that is one of the main things about this film. You go to it, you see the cover, you see he's running, and then you find out it's on the back that it's about parkour. You want parkour action, and that's what you get. The film does not disappoint there. Now, is this better than District B13 or Brick Mansions or any of these other parkour action movies? I don't fucking know. I haven't seen them. I definitely will at some point watch District B13 and D13 Ultimatum or whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah, it's this film does set it apart from a lot of films of the time where if you do like a teen action thriller, you'd get like oh the main character like knows boxing or karate, and you'd have them not kill anybody because oh killing is bad. And that kind of happens here. They don't really kill anybody. The only people that get killed are by the villains. And I understand they can't do too much or else because this is PG-13. And with me for a PG-13 movie to be a PG-13 movie nowadays, movie to be well done with the action is a real feat for me because you can't rely on blood squibs, which blood squibs do automatically make me feel like yeah, it looks a lot better. And this film does use blood squibs actually. It does cut away from them pretty quick for the most part, but I can give them a lot of credit for going practical over CG. I didn't notice any CG in this film. I can usually notice where they would have used it. I don't even think they used it for like green screen shots because I didn't notice any green screen shots. But this film looks really good. It is an indie film, as is Abduction, technically, because they're from Lionsgate. Um, and yeah, it feels like they wanted to make a film that you'd get sucked into, and I did. I get sucked into this film. Again, the characters are still pretty stock, pretty boring. I didn't mind Taylor Lautner's character, but Maria Evgeropoulos' character, Nikki, really doesn't have that much to her other than a tragic backstory. That's literally all you learn about her. Um, and again, the way the plot unfolds, I wish would have been done a bit better, where they have you slowly learn more about her backstory instead of giving it to you all at once. And I think that was meant to like create an illusion of her having a stronger character, which it really doesn't. But again, the thing that really keeps this movie from being a 6 or a 7 is the action. The act I think if you're going to watch this movie, go into it knowing it is a parkour action movie, especially if you like parkour, I think you'll be into this because it doesn't. Something that I've seen in other movies where they've had parkour in them, they treat it as if it's like a superpower. And while here they are doing a lot of crazy stunts, it never feels unrealistic. Given somebody who has a great admiration for people who risk their lives doing this shit for a living or as a hobby, I can really appreciate what they're doing here and how well these stunts are executed. I really can. I can give them so much credit for that. And the fact that the actors, especially Taylor Lautner, are doing the stunts. They could have easily cheated it with CGI and a lot of people wouldn't have noticed. But again, gotta give them credit. They actually did it. And it looks great. So yeah. I am would I watch this movie again? Maybe just for the action, but the story really isn't keeping me coming back for more watches. It's mostly the action. But yeah, I'll definitely check out B13 and D13 sometime, but yeah, I do enjoy the film. So, that was my review of Tracers. If you've seen the film, let me know in the comments. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door, out.